Hi, I'm Sean Reardon, Mayor of Newburyport, and welcome to the latest edition of the Mayor's Corner. Happy February, everybody. White rabbit, white rabbit. It's February 1st. It felt like January was like 3 months combined into one, so I felt like it was a particularly long month, but it's great to get through it. What else is going on? We have Groundhog Day tomorrow. It's supposed to be a gloomy day, so I don't know if Punxsutawney Phil will see his shadow, but we'll have to wait and see for that. But it's nice to have January behind us, and like I said, I think we have a lot of good things coming up in the coming weeks. And part of that is some of that excitement and some of those things, now that we get to focus on other things, was getting this Whittier vote put behind us, right? So a couple weeks ago, as you know, all 11 communities went out and voted for the Whittier School Building Project, $444 million project. A resounding no was felt across the region. I think it was a 10,000 vote margin. Or so, yeah, that's about right, 10,000 votes, but over 21,000 people casted votes on that day. So now it's like, what happens next, okay? So I can tell you, just to give you a quick little update around Whittier, I did attend a building committee meeting at Whittier this week. And to be honest, I gotta tell you, I was very disappointed with what transpired when we went there. You know, the agenda talked about like them speaking about next steps and kind of debriefing from the vote, but we really didn't get any of that. And I was there along with some people from Newburyport, as well as the surrounding communities there. So it was a public meeting. We were sitting in their auditorium with their building committee, and it was about a 21-minute meeting. They called it to order. It was funny, the OPM from left field in charge of the project was the one running the meeting, which I thought was a little odd. But yeah, they opened the meeting. They talked about shutting down the website and disbanding the committee. And then someone got up and just thanked the committee for all their hard work. And then they went to public comment. So there was really no, there was no debrief from the vote and any kind of collaborative effort to talk about what possible next steps would be. They kind of put it in the Whittier School Committee's court, and they don't meet again until February 13th, which I plan on going to that meeting as well. So, a lot of people got up for public comment. I think they got the gist that we were pretty disappointed. So what happens next? I will say the superintendent has invited the 11 communities in for a meeting next week to kind of collectively just sit around a table and talk what possible next steps would be. And I think she's doing that so she could inform the school committee. But I don't know, right? So, most likely they'll lose the funding that they had from the MSBA, which again is incredibly unfortunate, but at the same time, I do think they were asking for a project that just wasn't feasible. So, it's a shame that they're losing those state funds that the MSBA awarded, but when you're talking about a $500 million building, it just wasn't a feasible plan. I think the vote showed you that. So I'm hoping whatever happens next is that we're around the table trying to figure it out together. And we've kind of started that process. There was an article in the paper today about how I had hired a law firm to specifically look at this. And I got to tell you, I did this weeks ago. I did this at the beginning of January because I didn't want to overburden our city solicitor, but I wanted to have someone be able to just put some time in and looking at this Whittier school building project. Not only the process, the vote, I wanted to know different scenarios about if the vote went this way, went that way. Like I wanted someone to be able to look at all these things and then also dig in to the Whittier Regional Agreement because we knew whatever the result was, is that we wanted to dig into that and hopefully get the rest of the 10 other communities on board with looking at this agreement and amending it. It hasn't been amended once since it was created in 1967. And of course, that's not right. There's definitely been opportunities over the last 4 years where they should have, 4 years, 4 times during these past 50 years, where they should have looked at this agreement and opened it back up for amending, which they haven't done. So I'm excited to get that process started. I've really enjoyed working with the lawyer that we have working on it right now. And so I'll just keep you posted about where we're going. But there definitely seems to be a consensus around working together with the 11 communities on what does that amending that agreement look like. And I think we have to figure that out before Whittier starts talking about next steps. And I definitely think something should happen at Whittier. whether they decide to go back to the drawing board and enter back into the MSBA program and come up with a more reasonable project, or do we make up a plan to fix some of the things that are ailing their current building. Again, it's an old building, right? And I told you, our middle school is 2 years older than that building. So it is possible to have that be a functional building, but again, we have to work on that process together. And I think the vote made that very clear. So I'm hopeful that we can do that collaboratively moving forward. So I'll just leave it at that. So that's Whittier, and I'll give you an update next week of where we're at. But it looks like that February 13th meeting of the Whittier School Committee is when there'll be some discussion about next steps. It's almost budget season here in Newburyport. Actually, it pretty much is budget season here in Newburyport. And to quote Joe DeBiase of Local Pulse, it's the most wonderful time of the year. So internally, we're starting to work with, we'll send out documents to all of our department heads, and they'll start going through their budget process, right? And they'll talk about accomplishments and things that happened this past year, and they'll talk about goals for this year. So that's a great opportunity, again, to look at what we're currently doing and see how we can be even better. It's also a great opportunity to look and make sure we're doing things the most effective and efficient way possible here in the city. So I'm excited about that. Kind of echoing what I heard from the state, Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, I think it was last week when they submitted their budget for consideration, is that it's kind of a tightening of the belt type of year in the state, and I do see that will probably be the same way here in the city. So that's going to have us to look at things across the board, work with City Council, work with our department heads, and come up with a good plan and a good story as we move forward of what we're looking at to do in our great city departments here in Newburyport. So budget season's coming. This is just the beginning, but a lot of good conversations happening already here at the city level and here at the school level. So I look forward to that. So the rest of the time today, I just want to talk about what's coming up as far as the State of the City address. So last year I did my first State of the City, so I'm excited for my second one. It's going to be February 28th, which is a Wednesday night here in Newburyport. It's going to be 7 p.m. here at City Hall upstairs in the auditorium, and it's going to be a great night. What I love about this, it's a great opportunity to bring a lot of people together, highlight some of the local talent here in the city. We have Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll coming. I just got confirmation that State Auditor Diane DeZoglio is coming, and I know we'll have a lot of other really great local officials, state officials coming as well. It's a great opportunity to highlight all the great work that's been going on in the city this past year, but then also kind of tell you where we're headed, right? And so we're excited about that. Again, it's always a fun night, but it's going to be also the second annual City of Newburyport Public and Community Service Awards. And this was the highlight of last year. It certainly wasn't me talking for 40 minutes, so I'm going to pare down my speech this year. But the highlight of the night was really shining a huge spotlight on the wonderful work being done in the city on the public side and on the community service side. I've said it again, like this is like the best part of my job is shining a light on these people who are giving their time, their expertise for great causes, to contribute to their city. And just to give you a hand, so right now we're looking for nominations for this year's second annual awards, right? So if you go on the city website, you'll see right on there, you can either go to the mayor's office or go on the front news page. You'll see a blurb about what we're looking for the second annual Community and Public Service Awards, and then you'll see a nomination form too. So we've already got a handful in, but I know there's a lot more people out there that should have a nomination turned in for them. And just a reminder, there's 4 categories. We have a business category. So last year's winners were Olives, which is wonderful up there on High Street. Deb is the best. And then we have Kona Ice, again, also the best, does so much for Nikki does so much in and around the city for a variety of causes, right? So those were our winners last year for who we recognized for the Business Service Award. We also had the Individual Community Service Award, and this was an unbelievable category last year. We had Dana Reimer, past president of Newburyport Youth Soccer. We had Katie Shuchecki, PTO president. And then the winner of the event was Dick Tierney, who has given 40 years of his life to the Learn to Skate program and the youth hockey program here in Newburyport. So, I mean, what a category to recognize people in. The third category is the Public Service Awards. Now, this could be someone who's serving the city in some capacity, right? Could be an employee, could be a city councilor, could be someone who serves on a board or commission. Last year, we had a couple of employees that were recognized, Kevin Parsegian being one of them with the fire department, who does so much in and around the city. The winner was Paul Healy, who was stepping down from the Conservation Commission after decades of giving his time and expertise to the city, so it was so great to honor him as he was stepping down. And then that final category is the youth services category. So this is 18 years old and under, and we had a lot of great nominations last year as well. So we got to recommend 5 people forward, and then the winner was a senior at the time at the high school, Luke O'Brien, in his Gear to Share program, which I've really helped out with over the years. And he started that from scratch, and it was so great to recognize him for all the hard work he had put into that program, which takes sporting equipment that you're not using anymore and donates to people who, to kids that really need it. So I thought that was great too. So we've got 4 categories, and then we recognize, so we have finalists, right? So we can pick up to 5 people that'll get recognized as a finalist, and then we'll have a winner. But it's so nice because we're going to recognize all those people on that night. So I'm saying all this to get your nominations in. We have so many people that could be recognized here in our great city that are doing so many wonderful things each and every day to make our city even better. So again, it's my highlight of the State of the City is these awards, and I'm really excited for year 2 of these awards on February 28th. And that's my Mayor's Corner this week. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay warm. The weather looks like it's going to be okay. There's no snow in the future for the next week or so. And I will see you all next time on the Mayor's Corner.